Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut here with Bobby. Bobby, thanks for coming to the show today, like you always do each week. So I
Yeah.
know I keep saying thanks for coming to the show, but
Well, hey, we made a habit of it, right?
that's right.
It's been like a year and a half
It's
now.
been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything new? Rates are just all over this week where it's this is jobs week.
Yeah.
So everything to do with jobs is coming out this week to show whether or not, we're seeing jobs fail, people are laying off, all that stuff's coming out this week. So mortgage and backed securities, God, I think it was my first day, are all over the place. So do I want to say lock or not? I don't know. I'd wait till next week to figure out how this all finalizes by Friday.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then yesterday, Biden thing came into play where, they charged 1% more for conventionals if you got a great or in general, especially if you have a great FICO score. I ran the different numbers to see, hey, if I have a 650 FICO score, should I go conventional or should I still stay FHA? You're still staying FHA because it's almost a point difference in interest rate, and it's half the cost for mortgage insurance under FHA with the same FICO score.
So now, last week you were saying that like their intention with all this was to put more people into conventional loans, but
their intention, I don't know if that was their intention. That is what they were selling us on.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They were trying to make it supposedly where the people with great FICO scores would subsidize people who didn't make their payments on time and do everything else because it's always somebody else's fault.
Right.
That I don't make my payment on time. It was the actual pen didn't write that into that check to send out that check
because the money wasn't there.
I'm just a smart ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, so that's kind of a way to kind of get yourself back into risky loans, right?
That is huge right now. If they push this more to where it actually worked, right? If it actually worked, a 640 FICO score versus a 740 FICO score is 17 times more likely to go on foreclosure. And it has nothing to do with the loan documents are bad or the mortgage statement is bad. It has to do with the fact that people in certain FICO scores have shown over time that they have not paid their stuff on time. They have other stuff that goes on that affects themselves. And I don't want to say, because some people told me that the credit scoring thing keeps poor people down. I don't see that. I came from dirt road. I lived on a dirt road when I was a kid. All right. That's how poor we were. My FICO score has been high and it's been lower. That's my fault. That's nobody else's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when I was a young man with bad credit, I hated credit. And
I mean, the only person's fault is the Biden administration. But anyway, and all I'm getting about is what has happened with the current economy, where we're at rate wise and everything else is because of how this administration spins and doesn't want to work with the Fed to stop the inflation.
Yeah.
And you can disagree with me. I don't care because I see what's going on. You might think that they're trying to help everybody because that's what the guise of it is. Or I see it as with this rate thing, I see it as Fannie, just like when they added that 0.5% cost for the luxury of being able to refinance with them during the boom.
So like you said, it's just a money grab.
That's my take on it. And I could be wrong. And maybe I'll be wrong when this is all finalized and I can see the difference. But right now, that's kind of how it looks to me.
Now, are you getting a lot of phone calls from folks that had like the lower credit scores or have they haven't heard about this yet?
No, I don't have it's 3/4 of the people out there have a 700 or higher FICO score. There's only about 1/4 of the people with the lower FICO score. So 1 in 4, right? Let's just say has a lower FICO score that you have to work on to get it up. It just depends on where that transaction comes from. Also, some people, their clientele is the lower price point people. And there's nothing wrong with them. I want to work with them to get their score up before they get into contract, so they don't have all this debt that they still have, and that's or other issues, so that I don't want them to fail once they get in the house. I want them to flourish, not fail, because they still have all this debt or this other reason that got them that low FICO score.
Yeah.
Did I come off right? Because I'm just trying. I want to help. Let's fix the problem before they get into the house, because there's nothing worse than getting into the house and then not liking it or this or that and having issues and having to foreclose and walk away.
But a lot of times people, they just need a fresh set of eyes and they give them a solution, right? Like, hey, here's what you need to do. Implement this plan. You're gonna be buying a house soon. And then all of a sudden, there's kind of that worry and dread and kind of beating yourself up kind of disappears, right? Because I had the same problem, man. My credit was terrible, and I wanted to buy my first house, and that was back in 2010.
And it's just working on it. Now, here's the dilemma right now in California. We don't have enough inventory. We're not building enough houses. We have a pent-up demand for people wanting to get into homes because we have more people than homes. And that's our problem. So if it's going to take you time to build your credit back up, you might have to move to a different state to get into a home, which is not a bad thing. I mean, there's better states out there.
Yeah.
Well, not better weather, but better states in general.
Especially for cost of living.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's somebody else I was talking to was like, yeah, my so-and-so was looking to move to Texas, but the problem is they would go from their $150,000 a year job to a $40,000 a year job.
Yeah, it kind of depends. I mean, if you're, moving over with the tech firm, then your pay is, eventually they're going to, be paying less. They're going to it's going to balance out because you're going to make a lot less if you're living in Dallas versus, Palo Alto, right?
Potentially. What's going on in the real estate market? Because I mean, the mortgages are going to be here until we find that inflation's in check and it's going down even more or drastically. And supposedly we heard May 10th, but I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, just inventory right now. Just trying to go out and make some inventory, trying to find those people that were motivated or they were on the fence. And so basically, you had recommended a while back too, like looking at people that own their houses, maybe looking to downsize.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, if somebody owns a house free and clear, they're going to buy their next house free and clear. So the rate doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
And that's about a third of all the homes out there are free and clear.
Yeah. Which is excellent. I think that was really encouraging when you told me that. I'm like, that's good. That means people will really stick with it and take it seriously and pay that loan off.
Or they just got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. They've owned the home for a while, sold it, paid it off, or had money for this or that. Because what I'm seeing right now, I've had more people and call me that had to sell a house because their divorce finally is final.
Yeah,
and now they're looking for their own home because all these divorces that took during the pandemic never went through the system. It took 2 years to go through because they could never get court dates or something. I don't know the whole story, but I just know I've had probably 50% more. I would just say if you look at all the people I talked to last week, 50% of them were people like that.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. So go after divorce attorneys.
Yeah, no.
If you're a divorce attorney out there, please give me a call. I can help your people.
Well, yeah. Oh man.
No, but that's the thing is that's a lot of times and this is for anybody in our industry. If you're watching this, there's other for me as a mortgage person. It's not real estate agents. It's financial planners. It's divorce attorneys, any probate attorneys, trust attorney. Any of those people are good sources for additional, loans and different additional stuff. And I think a lot of people in our industry don't think about that, or all of a sudden they go, I have no business, and they hit everybody up instead of doing it overtime.
What I was going to say, there's also people that have rental properties that may have already moved out of state, seeing if they're interested in selling those. I know most people are trying to hold on to rentals. That's unless you really need to sell it, they're not.
A lot of second homes are being sold now, especially up where we are.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more come on the market because the snow was just so horrible this year. People are like, I'm done. There's still snow in my neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
We went down to this thing that's supposed to be a little creek.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rushing river, man. It is like huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me a second.
I know Mike Kelly just had a listing come up
Long Barn. Yeah. For somebody they know. Yeah. And yeah. And there's one on my street that just came up, and it's only 1,200 and something square feet. It's up on this. The views out of it is amazing. The problem is you're going to buy it for the views because you're going to have to gut it. It's so dated.
Looks like a cabin from the 60s or what?
Yeah, in 70s. Yeah. The views are just amazing where it's at because it's up on that little hill, but it's only 2-bedroom, 1 bath. See, we're 2 bedrooms, but then we have the upstairs that have 2 different rooms that have doors, but they don't have closets. So technically, depending on what appraiser is looking at it, they can't call it bedrooms. But we have one room that has a queen and 2 twins in it, and they're on the side, and then another room that has a king up there. So really, it's like 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
But it's just, and for us, we're looking, we like the cabin, but some people, it was just a lot of snow. I mean, I still can't believe the snow that was up there. And like I said, we went walking where we normally walk, and we go down towards the stream, and you get down there, and it's like, I kept my George on a leash, because last time we went down, he went in it and went floating down a little bit. I'm like, if you go, so yeah, it's like, if you go, you're gone, because I'm not chasing after you or jumping in this, because this thing is flowing. Yeah, and on the way down, I stepped in snow, and one of them I went through all the way to my knee, and it was ice snow. So of course it cut the heck out of me.
No kidding.
Which is like, what the heck, right? It's like, it was unusual. We've been down there many times before, because we've owned it for a while and not had anything like that before.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So again, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot, and a lot of people are like, I'm done. I don't want to own a second home up here anymore.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I know a lot of employers are requiring people to start coming back into the office, right? So a lot of those people that were coming from the Bay, moving up to like Tahoe or down here in the Valley.
Valley's not so bad.
Not as bad, right?
Yeah, but you're right. Like if they were up in Sonora and they now have to commute or hire, it's going to be a little difficult.
Yeah.
I had somebody reach out to me finally. She's retiring, and she's like, I'm done of the Bay Area, so I know I'm gonna have to commute for 3.5 years, but she wants to buy up there, and that's 120 plus miles, and that's like, we have to get a special letter, special thing addressing, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
anything over 80 miles, they need to have you really address it. It's not a big deal. It's just stuff that they want to, it's a little far. Well, it's just one of those things we have to put that in there just to cover our CYA.
I could see that.
Yeah. But I mean, I see even my wife, other companies are like, okay, I read an article, employers are getting the upper hand again. Like, where employees owned everything and controlled everything. They're now saying employers are starting to get the ball back, where this is what we want from you.
Gotcha.
You don't want it? Sorry. Have a great day. I think it's because of the fact that we need less and less people, and people are going to contract in other places.
I know that's been going on for a long time, especially like tech industry, right? Like my father-in-law, he designed PC boards, and once his company got bought out, they made everyone 1099s, just contracts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's just, especially in California with the employer, just the thing that how California is, it's just, they're not a business friendly state. Let's just put it that way right now. They want to, there isn't a tax they don't like that. It makes no sense at all. The whole restrictions they put on anything and everything is just so that they can tell us how to live, is to a point where, I mean, even I'm like, okay, I love California and the weather and everything. I'm ready to move, but if I could find a place that I like, I guess Spain sounds good right now.
Yeah.
On the coast. Yeah.
Oh man, I saw a video the other day.
My wife's like, "Oh, finally!"
Yeah, but it was like a promotional video. It's kind of promotional. It was like a family event, but it said visit Sicily, right? Man, just looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure, but there's their own issues anywhere where you go.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll sell my land when everybody needs to develop it. I'm waiting for this government. The government's like, okay, California, if you have a R2 or R5, you can go ahead and turn that into multi-family.
Yeah.
32 acres.
Yeah.
And then we now have a community.
Yeah, no kidding.
Neighbors will hate me. Yes. I'm just kidding. No, it's just a matter of, you never know what life's going to throw you and where you're going to end up, where you want to be. So, my son just bought his house finally. It closed on Friday last week up in Washington State, their first house. He's just turned 22, which is, unheard of for most people.
Yeah.
And it's, they bought it sight unseen, except for videos and everything else because they are up in Alaska. Yeah, and then he just bought his car sight unseen. It's a little different.
Yeah.
But when you're a vet and you get in for pretty much nothing, what does it matter?
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you again, as far as that that 1%, does that
The
apply?
conventional 1%?
Yeah. Does it apply on VA loans?
No, it's only conventional loans, and
Okay.
it has to be like 50% of the AMI. You have to run. It's very limited for who it's going to get in on that
Gotcha.
program. It does help, but we have to run all those numbers to make sure it works. And that's a 1% down payment where we cover up to through UW up to $4,000 of your down payment if you qualify. So if you're buying a $400,000 house, that means you have to still come in if you're going conventional with 2%, but it does save you 1% that you can put towards your closing costs.
Gotcha.
Right. But we got to run the numbers and make sure that you qualify in that thing.
Okay.
And it's very limited. It's probably, I would say, an eighth of the people, 1 out of 10 maybe that can qualify, because it has to do with AMI, which is the average median income in the area and where you have to be at.
Gotcha.
Yeah, go away, people. Sorry.
No worries.
So yeah, it's a great program, but again, you have to qualify, and I don't think a lot of people will qualify in our area just because of the values we have, right?
Uh-huh.
If in other places where if the house is 200,000, they're covering 2%, so you come in at 1%. In our area, it's 4%, so it's a lot harder for the AMI to work for us to where you can qualify for it. All right. Well, if anybody has any questions on it, just reach out to me and I'll answer your questions.
Okay.
All right. I'm Ed Parcaut. You can find me everywhere at Ed Parcaut. Bobby, you can find at 209-550-1087. Bobby, anything else before we go?
No, I maybe next time I should start putting my website down there.
You should. It should always be there.
Yep.
That way people can just look and go directly to where you are.
Yeah.
That's why I don't put it's my name, so it's much easier. But it's not case sensitive anymore, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you type in capital letters or not. You're still going to get to the right place. Same with email. So funny when I talk to older people, they're like, okay, it's capital this and that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, make it a great day. Thanks for